Welcome, 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 everybody. This is your boy DC. Once again, we're back with another episode. I know the first episode kind of blew your mind because we was on the gospel thing, and now we're going to get into the money thing because I believe that a lot of people in these days need to know how to manage their money. And I have somebody on the other end. She's on the West Coast. I have somebody on the other end to help us understand about financial situations and to help you get into a better situation. We have Miss Anita R. Johnson. She's the CEO of Johnson and Associate, and she's a financial behaviorist and a best-selling author. Also, too, she's an international speaker, and also she's a founder influence of financial fitness for Women Digital Magazine. That's right, she has a digital magazine that you must subscribe to because, trust me, there's some good information in there that everybody, not just women, everybody needs to know about. And then also, too, she's a founder and of your Financial Voice podcast. And she's a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Let me tell you, I don't know what it is about these deltas, but I'm running into a lot of them. You know what I mean? But it's all good. Well, I'm gonna bring Miss Anita in, and we're gonna talk about how she made these power moves. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Anita R. Johnson.
Well, thank you, DC. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about being here so that I can share some of my knowledge with you and your listening audience.
Good. Man, when I was reading off everything that you have done and what you're doing now, I was like, man, she's doing a lot. You know what I mean? It's no way.
You forgot I'm in the PhD program too.
See? Look at that. Look at that. I don't even know how I missed that one. Your email so long with all your Escalade, I had to stop reading. I was almost about to get your phone number, your error code out.
I love it.
So let's talk about how you became this financial, powerhouse to really get in depth and say, you know what, I'm gonna help people with their finances. How did that come about?
Well, that's a good question, and I can't recall the actual moment. I can recall some of the things that made me decide to do what I'm doing now. But one of the things, when I was like 18, I was a teenage pregnancy, and wanted to go to college, still wanted to go to college. And so I remember my dad saying to me, coming into my room and saying, hey, what do you want to major in? You're going to have this child, and, we're going to help you as much as we can. But what is it that you want to do? And I, was thinking of things. I actually really wanted to go to law school. And that kind of law thing kind of stayed with me until I was 50 and then decided, that's okay. And he said to me, he says, well, if you can't count your money, you can't do anything. And so I decided to go into accounting, major in accounting. And I did that. And so that was my first taste of the whole money thing. And then opened my own business, accounting and tax business. Was doing tax returns, lots and lots of tax returns, of course. And then there was a woman, she was referred to me. Her husband, she may have been in her 40s. Her husband had died, and I was doing the life in tax return. And I said to her, bring me all the W-2s, all this kind of stuff, so that I can do it. And she says to me, what does it look like? And I was like, what do you mean what's look? She says, well, my husband would just put it in front of me and I would sign it. She says, I know nothing about the finances. And it got me to thinking, because I have clients, women clients, who actually were earning, six figures, in the high end of the six figures, and was worried about a tax return for, $2,000, maybe $1,000, $2,000. And I just couldn't fathom that. I'm like, and then that got me to looking at other women looking at my family members, looking at myself on how we manage our money. So that's when I started the research. That's when the whole thing with the law degree stopped, because I was going to be a tax attorney. And then I decided to get into doing the research on women and their finances and getting into why they do what they do with their money. And then I changed a lot of the things that I do in business. And that's why now I'm a financial behaviorist.
Wow, that's a lot. Especially when your dad asks you what you gonna do.
I know. Yeah. My dad was a very goal-orientated, driven person, much like myself. I'm much like him, I should say, because he's the one that showed me the way. Both my parents, because they were educators, so they believed in education. They both had master's degrees, and then they also had their side gig where my dad taught shop and architect, and then that's what his side business called Boss Construction. So he built, so just about every church in Louisiana, my dad had something to do with it. Or every house in our hometown, my dad had something to do with it. And then my mother's major was music. Well, it was English and her minor was music. And she played the piano. So she played the piano for every church that my dad helped build.
Well, let's get into how you came about being the bestseller author. So all of this information that you just shared about your history and your background, that I guess kind of influenced the book. Yeah. So
the book, I have several, but the ones that is the best selling one is the psychological effects of money on Black women, the series #1. There's 2 series. And in that book, what I did is I gathered a few women together and we talked about our relationship to money, because that's what I am. I'm a therapist, a financial therapist. Basically, it's a financial behaviors, but it's in therapy. How do we deal with our money and this and that? And so we put that together in a small, maybe it may be 40 pages, 50 pages at the most, and it talks about our story and our relationship and our journey with money, and that became a bestseller. And then when that became a bestseller, people wanted more. We got things that said, we want more, we want more. Then we put the second series together, and that included a few men in there and their relationship to money. So it was both those books were named the same, the psychological effects of money on Black women, but we did add a few gentlemen into the second one, which gave a gentleman's or a man's perspective on money as well, because we all have different perspectives about money, and then the genders have different perspectives as well.
Good, because see, that leads up to my next question. My next question is about the stock market, and we all know
it's about what now?
The stock market. So we all know that everybody's saying that we may be heading to in inflation and in a recession, and gas prices are steady going up and down sometime, and the Fed is still playing around with the interest rates to try to figure out where, how they're going to try to fix this. I mean, give us your intake of what you think needs to happen, or what you see where we may be headed and how we can get out of this thing if you have that.
That's a good question. And basically this is kind of my opinion only. I always think that people should have a good relationship with their money, right? And so whether people have millions of dollars or thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, you always have to have a good relationship so you will know. Or $5.
Me.
I know that's right. Yeah, I know that's right. And so people should have a relationship. So you got to track your finances. You got to track it no matter what. And that, brings me back to the time when I didn't, and I was kind of tired of the behavior that I was having with my money. That's why one of the things I do what I do. And
Okay.
I just stopped and I said, okay, let me do some research on my own self. That's why, yeah. And so you have to track it. You have to really track it. And you won't worry once you start tracking and know your purpose for your money. Okay. There's always a purpose. You got to have a purpose for your money. I always tell people there should be a purpose, right? You shouldn't be earning money just to earn money or earning money to pay bills. You have to earn money for a purpose. And once you start putting a purpose to your money, not just to pay the bills, but is there some educational things you want to do? Is there some vacations you want to take? Is there some money you want to leave for your children? All of the purpose of your money. Then you won't worry so much about what inflation. Yeah, you worry about inflation is too high, this and that
Right.
kind of stuff. It costs, I just bought some eggs earlier today, $7 for a dozen eggs. I'm like, oh my God, right? If I didn't want to
Man,
make no
chicken, let me
cornbread,
tell
I
you,
wouldn't have made.
it's a
Right?
bunch of
If I didn't want to make no cornbread, I wouldn't get them.
it's a bunch of chickens out there on strike because them eggs hot. I remember I went to the grocery store with my mom when she was here for the Christmas break, and we both went in the grocery store, and the eggs was like hot. I'm like, when did the eggs go up? I said,
Yeah.
these chickens around
Yeah.
here must be on strike. They ain't laying no more eggs, and they tell y'all just sell what y'all got in y'all stores.
What we need, what we need is a chicken.
Yeah. Hey,
We
if
need
you
to
can
cook
find one,
chickens. That's what we need.
if you can find some.
But what we do is we learn. If we have that great relationship with the money. Now, mind you, it takes me a minute to purchase stuff when before it didn't. I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about it like, okay, and as a business owner, you think about that because, well, as anybody, you should be thinking about that because we never know when an emergency is going to come up. And then you got to be able to put some money aside. Even if I tell people, they say, well, how much money should I be putting aside in my savings or investments or things like that? What you can afford. That's what you put in there. That's what you put, what you can afford. Don't let people tell you 10% of this and 5% of that. You put in what you can afford. And then once you start tracking your finances, you'll see where the money is falling through the cracks, and then you'll make your adjustments. Because that's the reason of the purpose of your money. What is the purpose of your money?
Yeah, because right now, you can't even go buy a car. You can't even get a house. You can't even get in new credit cards because of the interest rate of the credit cards has went up tremendously.
Yes.
Yeah, I pray that people can pay their credit cards on time, but when they don't, that interest rate alone is going to eat them up. So
right.
I guess what you're saying is correctly. If you can't afford to put up 10%, just put something up.
Mm-hmm.
Put something up, and then at least you can see something. Something is better than nothing. And I tell people all the time, you don't want to be, you don't want to work just to say you're working. Like you said, you got to have a purpose. You got to work towards something. If you want to get yourself this new car when the inflation, interest rate, and all that stuff go down, just put up you $5, $10, $15. Just put it up until you make your down payment. Then that way that you don't have to come out right out the rip with a whole bunch of money for a down payment because you already done put up for it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I believe what you're saying is
or try to pay
right.
cash for money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but right now, the way the market looks, Miss Anita, it's just like our salary is not matching up how the economy is going. And that's not fair to people for them to keep jacking the price up. But the employers don't want to give the employees any raises. And
that's true.
How can people live? How can people live?
Yeah, it's hard out there. It's definitely hard. And for me, for my business, I usually work with employers because what happens is your employees are unhappy. They could be unhappy for many things when it comes to their money. But if you offer them, this is what I tell employers, if you offer them a solution to their problems or their challenges, they stay a little bit longer. A lot of people don't want. Some people do. Okay, don't get it. Everybody wants money, But money's not the only reason why employees leave. Okay, it's a lack of training sometimes. And if I'm training them how to do, if I'm the outside consultant coming in, training them on how to deal with their finances, then that actually that's a training that they can use. You know, if they didn't know before that, you know, a tracking system is good, or if they had a tracking system and it didn't work, what's the reason why it didn't work? And then I explain to them why it's not working or how they can do it better, then that employee will most likely stay at that place. Now, they may go out because of whatever situation, they may not like it, but it'll be better for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Remember, I think it was 2 years ago when they saying there was a seller's market for the houses. Now it's the other way around for people to find jobs. It's not. It's a lot of jobs out there, but now it's up to the people who wants to work. And by doing that, I guess they're trying to up the minimum wage, because I think that some of the jobs offer $15 an hour, $16 an hour, $17 an hour, but that's not even the minimum wage yet. But at least that particular establishment understand if they want to get quality people, they're willing to invest more into the people, so therefore it can be a long-term relationship. Because if you don't invest in your employees, don't expect for them to stay.
Yeah.
Because they say there's no room for me to grow because you're not pouring back into me.
Correct. I know here in California, if I'm not mistaken, our minimum wage or living wage has increased. I'm not sure, because everybody that works for me is usually a subcontractor. So I don't have any employees, so to speak, besides myself. But but we have raised our minimum wage here in California.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Like I said, I have roughly about 20-something 1099 employees. And when we first started my company, everybody was making anywhere from $25 an hour to probably $28 an hour. Now everybody's that working with me now is making $35 to $40 an hour, because that's how the years had, you know, moved the needle, and it was so much demand on what we do that we was able to, you know, say this is what I think we're worth at this time. But moving to 2023, I don't know if that $35 or $40 an hour is still good. It could be something else, because today is the 5th. We 5 days into the new year, and Congress, they still don't have a leader. Hopefully when this air, they'll have one. You know what I'm saying? But that type of stuff really affect our financial bottom line, because right now the country don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. Yeah. So it's like everybody's just like holding on to their money to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the stock market is down this morning. It's been down for a little while, though. It's been down. I was trying to check.
We don't want to talk about stock market. I ain't gonna even tell you what I'm losing right now. After this podcast, I may get on the phone with my own financial advisor to tell him just to stop. Just stop trying to put my money out there. Hold on to it. Just a little bit that I got out there, just hold on to it. Because last time I checked, it's like it's going down. I haven't seen any up yet. Yeah. I haven't seen any up yet. On, you know, just to be real. I know I laugh about it, but you know, some people, that's their savings. You know, that's their retirement. Yeah, it's just, you know, right now people don't know what to do. And then if you try to take your money out, it's a bigger penalty to take your money out. So it's just like, what do? Do I just stand still and just wait until, you know, they get me down to the white meat, or what, you know. Tell me what I need to do. Because at this point I don't know. So that's why I haven't really called and reached out to my financial advisor about it, because I'm sitting here still trying to watch the market to figure out where it's going. But what I'm seeing in front of me is that the gas going up and it's going down, and then the inflation seems like it's going up even more. You can't find certain things in the grocery stores anymore, and then people lines are getting long for certain things. It's just like, when is it going to end until we just all run out? I mean, what's your prediction in this industry?
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
It's great.
What you think?
Well, you know, I think we need to continue to watch our money, have more than one stream of income. Even if we do have a job, we need more than one stream of income. Everybody does. And if you are going in that direction where you have more than one stream of income, do something that you like doing. If it's a hobby, turn that hobby into some kind of job, and some type of business. And you can get so many different write-offs or deductions or from having a business, and a business inside your home. So we as people, and you may not want a second job, right? You may not want a second something to do outside, because you may have young children or whatever, or you might be just tired. But I really think that we really should have a good relationship. And I think if financial knowledge, not financial literacy now, financial knowledge on how money works, not that whole credit thing or getting your credit back together or anything, but what is compound interest and how that affects you and your legacy, right? Those kind of things. I have this book that's coming up that I'm collaborating with. It's an ebook, but it's called the Financial Miseducation of the Negro. And it's gonna be deep. It's gonna be deep. You know, we got some great chapters in it, right? And it talks about how we as Black folks, African Americans, whatever you want to label yourself, have been miseducated on the use of insurance, the use of our homes, the use of this, the use of that, and how we can get back on track, the use of leaving a legacy, all of those things. One thing my co-writer educated me on, because, you know, I'm always talking about leaving a legacy, you know, and it's just not the next generation. It's 100 years from now. Do you still, what you did today, does that affect what affects your legacy 100 years from now? Because I can earn the money, have plenty of money, but my granddaughter could mess it up and lose it. Now, I will teach. I'm to teach her on how to manage and make that money grow. And one of the things that makes that money grow is compound. That's one of the most powerful things, is compound interest. That's really, really powerful. And we don't get enough education on that, financial knowledge on how to make that grow. And being ready for the COVID-19 things of the world, the inflation things of the world, being ready for that. And you know, as well as I do, as a race, you know, we've always come, because we know how to put a garden together. Yep. Even if we put it in a pot. Yeah, even if we just put it in a pot, and we know how to, you know, we can, you know, and I'm not a savvy gardener, but if I can put something in a pot, make some zucchini grow and some tomatoes and some cucumbers, I could do that, and that will keep some of that money in our own pockets.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you know, everybody can, you know, be a farmer or, you know, be out there, you know, to do that. But one thing that what I was doing my research on, and I noticed that Equifax, what's the other one? Trends, and those are the two that I looked at. They are not a government entities. Those are privately owned. They are privately owned. But my thing is that you got two big major companies out there telling people how their credit is. I mean, who give them that authority?
Who gave them permission?
Yes,
who exactly.
Gave them? Who gave them permission to say, you know what?
Yeah.
Your credit score gonna be 400 this month. Your credit.
Yeah.
No,
and you can't buy anything.
You can't buy anything. So it's just like they're not ran by the government, but the government let them do that. And to me, I think that's unfair to an average, you know, person that's trying to come up, that's trying to make some of themselves, when they probably had made a bad decision back in the days, and they've been trying for years to get their credit straight, and they could seem like they can never get out of that hole because Equifax saying, you know, your credit score is 586.
Well, let me tell you a secret, and about my own score. Right now, I earn quite a bit. You know, I mean, I on an average, okay, I earn some money, right, and I can basically kind of buy stuff cash, right. And I've been a cash-based business for a long time, even when I owned my own home. Right, I was a cash based, but my credit, I wasn't in school at the time. So, you know, now you got these student loans and this and that. And so when I went to, I sold that house, and I was going to wait 2 years to buy another house. And when I went to buy another house, my score was not, the score was great, but my credit was bad. Okay, let me tell you, because I had no credit.
Oh,
I didn't have no credit.
Yeah. See, that's happening now to my daughter. She don't have no credit, and it's kind of messing her up.
And so, because I was a cash-based business, then I had to go out and get a credit card, and I didn't want a credit card. You know, all those kinds of. So those are the things that. Now, if I had enough cash to pay cash for a house, then they would want to know where I get the cash from.
Yep.
So you see how, like you said, that catch of that whole credit, right? Because they have made, the world has made, or whoever has made us feel like we're nothing if our score is below a certain amount of money. I mean, a certain amount of score, because we can't get things. We can't get all of this other stuff. And that is part of what happens with our mindset. And so that's what I work with people on too, that's okay if your score is 500. Yeah, we need to work to get it because that's what the world says you got to have, right? But your net worth is not wrapped up into your credit score. It's not wrapped up into your credit score, because all you have to do is, cash is king. And if I had $300,000, $400,000 in cash, would I buy a house for cash? I don't know. Maybe. If I was like a millionaire and I didn't really need the $400,000, I may just do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I would go to a state where I can buy a house straight out. Who knows? You know, 20 grand or 30 grand or something to that effect, right? So we have to know that our net worth and our self-worth is not wrapped up in a credit score, or wrapped up in how much money we have in the bank. But our mindset has to be, okay, I know that, but I need to get this score up. I know I'm still worth more than this 600, 700, 800 score.
Yes, I mean, everything you said is like dead on. And fortunately, we out of time. And man, I wish that we can keep going on and on and on and on and on. Well, I mean, we are already overtime, but I got to keep it within that 35 minute window. But shout out your information, Miss Anita, because I know when people watch this, they're going to call you, email you, hit you up on whatever social media you're on. They're going to want to figure out how they can get their finances right.
Well, you can hit us. We're on Facebook, Anita R. Johnson, financial behaviorist. Our website, which is Money Wisdom for Women. We just got our website back up because it was hacked. So we're still doing some more work on that. The phone number is 916-306-1501. And then, of course, Anita Financial Behaviors at gmail.com. So we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. Also, we're gonna be on your our podcast will be streaming on your radio streaming show. What you talking about?
Yes,
we
on the
doing
BD
that
Music
thing.
Network. We didn't get a chance to mention that because I'm gonna have to bring you back on season 2 because there's a lot more that I feel that you can contribute to the power movement, because I do believe there's a lot.
I love this. Yeah, thank you for having me. Definitely.
You're welcome. Thank you for accepting my invitation. But like I say, Miss Anita is full of information. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and sign off, everybody. You're gonna have to hit Miss Anita up and get more information from her. Until then, I'll see you next time. This is your boy DC.